Today we are talking about the female reproductive system. First, we will see that there are some external features and some internal features, and some accessory organ that is the breast. First, we will see the external part of the reproductive system, and collectively we will say that one in one term, that is the word. To फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम को हम 3 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर सकते हैं। सबसे पहले एक्सटर्नल जेनिटलिया एंड इंटरनल जेनिटलिया एंड accessory reproductive organ. First, we will go for external genitalia. So we can see in this picture, so there are some structures that is labeled, and here we can see mons pubis, clitoris, and labia majora, labia minora, and vestibule, and urethral meatus, and vaginal orifice, and anal orifice. What is the function of the external female reproductive system? External female reproductive structures, whatever that is present at this system, they facilitate to enter the sperm in uterus, and they protect all the internal genital organ from any infection, any germs, any pathological cause. So there are some function that is mainly they can perform as vagina. We can say this is the birth canal and the sperms are deposited here. And the uterus, this is the location where embryo can develop into a fetus, and fallopian tube where a sperm can fertilize with an egg, and ovaries is produced and releases egg. So external structure, so these are structures: mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, clitoris, and vestibule. And in the vestibule, there are some opening, that is the urethral vaginal opening, and some gland that is located inside and outside the vestibule, that is the Bartholin glands and skinny glands. In the internal structure, this external part that is the vaginal orifice that is connected to vagina, and to uterus, fallopian tubes, and ovaries. Now we will study with every structure of the external genital. First, we will study mons pubis. It is a region that it consists of adipose tissue that located above the vagina, and it is covered completely with the hair, pubic hairs. And labia, it is divided into two parts. There are two types of lips. That is the big one, that is outer side, that is the labia majora, and inner one, that is the labia minora. And that is both are both having enormous nerve endings and blood vessels, and they protect the internal organ from any pathogens, and they contribute in the sexual arousal function. Labia majora is a fleshy and large comparative to labia minora, and it contains sebaceous gland, and after puberty it is covered with a pubic hair, and it closes labia majora, minora, and all the internal reproductive organs. Labia minora, smaller folds, and that cover the vestibule, and there is no hair follicles, no sweat gland, but it has sebaceous gland, erectile muscle fibers, and numerous vessels and nerve endings. And you can see here in the pictures very clearly labia minora, clitoris, and there is the foreskin of the clitoris. We can see say that is the hood of the clitoris and the glans of the clitoris. Clitoris is a small cylindrical erectile body and measure 1.5 to 2 centimeter long, and it is situated most anterior part of the vulva, and where two labia minora meet at where clitoris facet. It is very sensitive often because there are numerous nerve sending facets and they they are contribute to stimulation and they can erect. Vestibule is formed by the labia minora and it encloses some opening that is urethral and vaginal opening and some ducts, the greater vestibule gland, battling glands, they also open into the vestibule. Urethral opening that is situated in front of the vaginal orifice and it is 1.5 centimeter below the pubic arch. Vaginal orifice lies in the posterior end of the vestibule and completely enclosed by the septum that is called a hymen and this is this is the last strand of the vaginal canal. Some glands that is situated in the vulvar area, that is the Bartholin glands. There are one pair of Bartholin glands situated at either side of the vestibular valve, and they excrete the alkaline mucus, and which helps in lubrication. Skinny gland, they are also derivative gland. They also secrete some mucus that always lubricated the area. Arteries and veins, it is supplied by the internal pudendal artery and some branches of femoral artery, and they drain into the internal pudendal vein and vaginal venous plexus and long venous vein. Now supply the anterior superior part and posterior superior inferior part. They are supplied by the cutaneous branch from ilioinguinal nerve and genital branch from genitofemoral nerve. And posterior inferior part is supplied by the pudendal branch from posterior cutaneous nerve. And that is between two groups, the vulva is supplied by the pudendal nerve. Lymphatic, all the lymph drainage from the superficial superficial inguinal lymph nodes. Now we will start the internal genital organ, and it we will first is vagina. Commonly, it is called birth canal. It is 4 to 5 inches long, and there is the acidic pH, the acidic, and it is a fast passageway for sperm to the egg and menstrual bleeding, and it is an organ of copulation and forms the birth canal for fertilization. You can see here in this picture the vagina, and the structure is composed of vagina is composed of two walls, anterior and posterior wall. Anterior wall's length is 7.5 centimeter, whereas posterior wall's length is 10 centimeter. Both are normally correct in copulation time and delivery time, fertilization time. The vagina is opened. Pinkish in appearance inside, and it connects the external genital organ to the uterus. Fornix of the vagina, some part of the uterus that is called cervix that is hanging in the vagina. So the very uppermost portion of the vagina, there is some spaces we call that is the fornix, and this space is situated anterior and posterior and both lateral sides. So we can say anterior fornix and posterior fornix and lateral fornix. Posterior fornix is very deep. Relation of the vagina anteriorly, it is related to bladder, posteriorly to the rectum and perineal body, and laterally the pelvic fascia and ureter, and superior to the vagina there is uterus, and inferior to the vagina there is external genitalia. Blood supply, we can see here all the branches, the internal iliac artery, they are supplied by the uterine artery, some branches of the uterine artery, and it also drain into internal iliac vein, internal pudendal vein. And same here, the lymphatic drainage, internal iliac group and superficial inguinal lymph node, they drainage to these lymph node groups. Nerve supply, this is also supplied by the pudendal nerve. Now we are here the uterus. Girls are born with billions eggs, but only 400 released during the all reproductive time, and no new egg developed after birth. So it means the all those cells of the ovarian that is producing to the egg in future, they are already at the present of the birth, no new cell formed. We can see here in this picture the size of the uterus and the shape of the uterus. Structure is a thick walled muscular pear-shaped organ, and it is situated in middle of the pelvis and behind the bladder, in front of the rectum, and it consists of the cervix and the main body. We can see here that the end point of the cervix, and we can see here the hole that is called external os. Cervix is the lower part of the uterus, and it has its canal. We can say that endocervical canal, and it open into the uterus and the vagina to the external walls and internal walls. Through this canal, the menstrual blood exits from the uterus, and sperm can enter into the uterus. Cervical canal usually narrow, but during labor, the hormonal influences the canal widens to let the baby grow. Function, it is a very important function of the uterus to sustain a developing fetus and prepare for the possibility for each month and termination of the pregnancy, it expels the uterine content. We can see anteriorly it is related to uterovesical pouch and posteriorly recto-uterine pouch, and laterally there is broad ligament uterine tubes, and superiorly there is intestine and inferiorly vagina. Measurement and parts measure 8 cm long, 5 cm wide, and 1.25 centimeter thickness, and weight is 50 grams, and it is divided into three parts, that is the body, fundus, and cervix. We can see here there is the body, and fundus, the upper part, that is the fundus, and cervix. The opening of the uterine tube and upper portion of that side, that is the fundus, and the lower part is the cervix. There is layer, we can see here, that is endometrium, myometrium, and perimetrium. Endometrium is the most inner part, and every month that is prepared for the implantation of the fertilized egg. But if there is no implantation of fertilized egg, then it is wiped out through the menstrual blood. Myometrium, it has the muscles, so it is very important contraction of the uterus. Perimetrium, it is the serous membrane that is layered at the outer surface of the uterus. So we can see here in this picture there is some ligament. This is the peritoneum. So we can say this is the peritoneal ligament, and here we can see this is the broad ligament, and some part that is attached to the salpinx, fallopian tube. We can say mesosalpinx, mesoovarian, and this is the part mesometrium, that is the part of the broad ligament. And the ovary is also attached to the uterus, that is the round ligament, ovarian ligament. And some parts of the broad ligament that is stretched from the fallopian tube to the pelvic wall, that is called suspensory ligament, that suspend the uterus into the pelvic cavity. And fibromuscular, some fibromuscular ligaments also, they are also made up of fibrous and muscular muscles, and these are round ligament and transverse cervical ligament and uterosacral ligament. So these are all the ligaments of the uterus. So we can see here there are some pouches that is in between the bladder and uterus and rectum, because the peritoneum is layered uterus and rectum and bladder in such a way that there is formation of the folds in between them. So in between the fold, the bladder and uterus, we can say that is we will say uterovesical pouch, and between the rectum and uterus we can say recto-uterine pouch. So if there is any fluid collection, if there will be any abnormality, so there will be clinical symptoms will appear. Blood supply uterine artery and internal iliac vein that is drained from the uterus. We can see here in this picture the blood supply of the ovary, uterus and vagina in a single picture. Lymphatic it is also drained into the superficial and deep inguinal lymph nodes. And now supply parasympathetic and sympathetic nerve supply. Now we will see fallopian tube. Fallopian tube connect to each ovary and egg will enter from the femoral part and then it will reach the ampulla area and where the sperm will come and the egg will be fertilized. So it will die within 48 hours if the fertilization did not occur. So fallopian tubes we can see here the 5 to 5 centimeter 5 inches and 10 to 13 centimeter long, extend from the upper edge of uterus towards the ovaries, and it is lined by the tiny hair-like projection that's called cilia. Cilia muscles in the tubes will propel an egg downward through the tube of the uterus, and egg may be fertilized by a sperm in the fallopian tube. Relation anterior and posterior and superior the peritoneal cavity and intestine, laterally the pelvis, inferior ligament and medial uterus. Parts there is the intestinal portion, external supply and fundibular intramural part. We can see here this. Blood supply uterine ovary and drain into the ovarian vein, lymphatic, para-aortic nodes and uterine and ovarian nodes. Ovaries are small pearl colored long and size of the walnut and it is attached to the ligament that is the ovarian ligament and it produces some hormones that is called the estrogen and progesterone hormones, some androgens that is testosterone and there is follicles and that produce ovum and each follicle contain one oocyte. So we can see here in this picture so there are different stages of oocytes. Anterior to the ovaries are broad ligament, posterior there are intestine, laterally infundibulopelvic ligament and superior to the ovary uterine tube and inferior to the ovarian ligament. This is made of the medulla and cortex and medulla is supporting framework and made of fibrous tissue as ovarian blood vessels, lymphatic and non-fibrous fluid. So medulla is the that part there is fibrous tissue, blood vessels, all the lymph nodes and nodes. In cortex, it is the functioning part of the ovum because there is the ovarian follicles in different stages. So there is ovum production. So this is the functional part. Ovarian abdominal aorta, ovary is supplied by and drain into the ovarian vein. Along the ovarian vessel tube, para-aortic node, now supplied by the T10 spinal segment, spinal nodes of the T10 segment. Ovulation. One major arm from the ovaries fallopian tube that is released every month and there is a about 3 lakh immature in ovaries at the birth. The hormones from pituitary cause ovaries to begin producing female sex hormone because female that is the FSH and LH and the influence of the FSH and LH there is follicle stimulating hormone, the follicle is started and there is production of the estrogen and progesterone. One sperm will enter ovum and that is menstrual. Menstrual period, muscle of the uterus contract, lining breaks and we can see that time is the cramps and this lining passes through the cervix into the vagina after the vaginal opening. Each month uterus prepare for possible pregnancy. If there is no pregnancy, all the internal line is breakup and it is flushed out as a menstrual blood from the uterus and hormonal is responsible for the thickening of the endometrium. So this is all about the reproductive system, and today we know that all the parts of the internal organ and the parts of the external organ of the reproductive system of the female, and we can define well now. Thank you so much.